Thanks.
Is there anything else, Mr. Jones?
No, that's all.
Good night.
Good night.
Knocking off early, Chief?
Yes, sir, Bill. We're throwing a testimonial dinner for Joe Karnak tonight.
Joe Karnak? Who's he?
I thought everybody in this town knew Joe. Been working down at the tool company for, well, darn near 25 years now. Just made him plant superintendent. That's the reason for the dinner.
And ye editor covers it in person? Must be important.
Yeah, it is to me. I've known Joe since I was a young fellow like you. Matter of fact, I guess Joe gave me my start in this business. Didn't I ever tell you about Joe and his American anniversary cake?
No.
It was way back when I was covering magistrate's court.
Next case, next case.
Your Honor, I'm charging this man with being a suspicious character. I don't think he's all there.
What's he done, Flanagan?
Done? He comes out of Schultz's bakery with the biggest cake I ever seen in my life. Look at it. Look at the red, white, and blue shield, and the eagle. Well, he goes right over to the square, and he sits under a flagpole and commences. Not just eating the cake, mind you, but gobbling it. One great big hunk after another. And all the while he's crying like an infant. Well, sure, there's something wrong with the man.
What's your name?
Joe Karnak.
What about this, cake business? Don't be afraid. Speak up.
Sir, Joe from old country. Just 1 year ago, Joe come to America. He see fine cake like this in store. In old country, Joe no have money to buy cake. But in America, Joe get job. And all the time he work, he think of cake. Beautiful, big American cake. Today, 1 year after he come to this country, Joe get pay at plant. What he do? He buy American cake for American anniversary for Joe Karnak. He's so happy.
Well, all right, Joe. Case dismissed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just a minute, Joe. Look, well, let's see if I get what you mean. Do you mean that this cake kind of symbolizes America? Well, you wouldn't understand that, I guess. But the idea is that it's all a dream come true. Is that it?
Yes, sir. Dream come true. In America is more cake than I ever see. Why you write this?
For my paper. Newspaper.
It is different than in all country. I have very bad time in all country. But you no can say that in paper.
Why not?
You catch trouble, talking bad about things.
Listen, Joe Karnak, here's something else for you to learn about America. Nobody tells us what to print or what not to print. Because, you see, Joe, among other freedoms like, well, freedom of religion, we've got freedom of the press.
That's a swell yarn, Chief.
It was a swell yarn. Got me my first promotion. Yep. I owe a lot to Joe. What he brought home to me that day has stuck with me ever since. Kept me aware of what America means. And in recent years, it's been responsible for the editorial policy of this paper. To safeguard the things that Joe Karnak saw a long time back in his American anniversary cake.
You ain't going to the dinner in your shirt sleeves, are you, Mr. Carson?
No, Don, I've got my Sunday suit all ready. You know, as foreman of the finishing department, I've got to look my best.
Say, didn't Joe used to be in your department, Mr. Carson?
He sure did, until he got that idea of his. I guess I'm the first person he ever told it to.
Came over to my desk one morning.
Excuse, Mr. Carson.
Oh, what have you got there, Joe?
Mr. Carson, I work in your department now 9-10 years, and I operate machine. But all the time, I think, you know. And so I think, maybe we'll be better machine if you do this, see? Fix machine like I make here with a pencil. Of course, I don't draw so good.
Joe, you've got something. You've honest to Pete got something. You better go show this to Mr. Allen.
Show this to big boss, company president? He no see me.
I'm afraid you don't know the big boss. He'll see you. And if he says okay, we'll try it out. I think it'll work.
But first we get okay from government agency.
Government agency? What for?
Permission to make changes.
No, Joe. Under the American system, you don't need government permission. Mr. Allen decides what's best for this plant, and he's right down the hall.
So that's how Joe started moving up.
That's how. The company took out a patent in Joe's name. And from that time on. Well, I guess the climax is this dinner tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Allen.
Evening. Well, how's everything at City Hall?
How's everything at the tool company?
We've got the lunchroom turned into a regular banquet hall.
Good.
You know, Harry, this dinner tonight, all the men who'll be there, it's a fine thing for Joe, but it's a fine thing for all of us, too. In a small way, we've each been well...
We've been in on a typical American success story.
Yeah.
I thought of it myself. And I was in on the start. Way back when I was a clerk in the License Bureau. Joe had just gotten into town, fresh off the boat.
Excuse. I got for labor permit.
Huh?
Labor permit. For I work.
A labor permit? You want a labor permit? You don't need any labor permit in the United States of America, friend. Over here, you can take any job you like. You can quit when you like. And if you want to, you can tell your boss. Well, anyway, over here, we have what we call free enterprise.
No labor permit.
Look, you want a job? I hear they're taking on men at the tool factory. Wait a minute. I'll write it down for you. There you are.
And he's been with us ever since. You know, I'll never forget the first time Joe voted. He'd just become a citizen. Oh, Joe.
Here, Mr. Allen, you stand ahead of me. You're my boss.
No, stay where you are, Joe. You were here first.
Look, Mr. Allen, maybe I come back and vote some other time.
What do you mean, Joe? Come back. You're in line right now.
No, I think I better vote later.
Oh, come on now, Joe. What's the matter? What's bothering you?
Well, Mr. Allen, you see, you and me, maybe we vote for different men. Maybe you would not like that.
Oh, so that's it. Well, listen, Joe, I'll never know how you vote. Nobody will ever know. How you vote is your business and nobody else's. Now, go ahead. It's your turn.
where's our guest? Say, where's Joe?
Why, the committee was supposed to, There he is.
Yes, gentlemen. Here I am.
Come on up and sit down, Joe.
What's the matter, Joe?
Anything wrong, Joe?
No. Nothing is wrong. Everything is good. But I have been thinking. That chair there, the place of honor, I cannot take it. It should be left empty tonight. For anyone in this town might very well occupy it. Anyone in America might very well occupy it. Because anyone could have done what I have done, become what I have become under the American system.
Come on, Joe, and sit down.
This is your seat right here, Joe.
We know how you feel, Joe.
Look what we've got for you.
He's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
But this is wonderful. Wonderful. My American anniversary cake. Just like the one so many years ago. And even more than that one, it represents a dream come true. It symbolizes the freedoms of America. The freedom of the press. The freedom of religion. It symbolizes the freedom of speech, to say what we like on the street or at the polls. And it symbolizes freedom of enterprise. The American way of life. Yes, I know this is supposed to be a tribute to a fellow named Joe. But actually, there are thousands and thousands of fellows named Joe. Fellows who started at the bottom, but who couldn't help climbing the ladder because they believed in the American way of life. And that way of life must continue. And it will continue if we recognize the themes of which it is composed. The freedoms, the so very important freedoms, the unique freedoms that make this nation the greatest nation in the world.